This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news in the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis, back from a power outage from a winter storm. No, it wasn't fun, and no, I didn't even get to go sledding. First up, before we get into the news proper, I want to give a quick heads up that the first Sounds Profitable presentation of 2025 is next week. Join Tom Webster for a half-hour presentation of The Business Podcast Consumer, a look at the audience of business podcasts and what makes them different to the audience of any other genre. Join in next week on Wednesday, January 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Registration is free and open now. Link in the show notes. Now, here's what you need to know for today, Tuesday, January 7th. My first story today, a YouTuber expose just uncovered a shocking influencer marketing scandal. No, we're not talking about YouTube drama on The Download. This one has a point. An expose video from YouTuber MetaLag alleges having unearthed evidence that PayPal Honey, a coupon code aggregating browser extension that was launched in 2012, has been taking affiliate marketing funds for years. According to the expose, the browser extension replaces any existing affiliate marketing tracking links and cookies with PayPal Honey's own. A class action lawsuit has been filed by lawyer and YouTuber Devin Legal Eagle Stone. While coverage has largely focused on how YouTubers are responding to the Honey allegations, it's worth noting this applies directly to all direct-to-consumer marketing efforts. If these allegations prove true, the popularity of Honey as a podcast advertiser could mean that quite a few podcast promotional campaigns have been impacted. Next up, the sound of growth, how audio fuels branded search. A new study from Oxford Road looks at $400 million in cumulative audio spend, representing over 30 years of client spending. According to their findings, audio advertising consistently has a measurable impact on search volume if given time to work. First week search results are not immediately swayed by audio investment, but steadily tick up over time. Takeaways from the study include planning for lagged effects, aligning with proper attribution solutions, and prioritizing consistency over the campaign. Next up, trade wins. This one comes to us from Evan Shapiro on LinkedIn. A recent Nicholas Quah piece on Vulture made the claim that, quote, after about 2 decades of primarily being associated with audio, video has become central to podcasting's identity. This comes to you from the article, Will Video Kill the Audio Star in 2025? Industry experts, including Evan Shapiro, have countered this assertion with reminders that some of the very first podcasts themselves were video podcasts. Shapiro specifically notes how this is not new news, with the fact that YouTube has regularly represented at least a third of podcast traffic in many years. The Joe Rogan Experience, for example, primarily grew on YouTube and has 19 million subscribers. In 2024, YouTube reported audiences watched 400 million hours of podcasts on YouTube on their TVs per month. Focusing video podcasting and YouTube specifically has been a solid strategy for the better part of a decade, one Shapiro has recommended for that long, and definitely continues to be one for 2025. Next up, hard truths for soft news. According to the Wall Street Journal, many news publishers are no longer interested in engaging in hard news in 2025. Despite pushback from said publishers, advertisers are still using keyword block lists, which prevent ads from being run on news stories covering more serious topics. And even when publishers post inoffensive soft articles, those too get blocked. 2 examples given by the Washington Post point to an article ranking boxed brownie mixes that was flagged for the phrase grocery, drug, and mass market, as the word drug is a commonly banned keyword, even in the context of referring to drugstores one would buy a brownie mix from. Similarly, an article about a thunderstorm was blocked because of a sentence describing the storm as sounding like artillery and thus got flagged by war-averse filters. Next up, Gen Z's revealing critique of Spotify's video push. Amplify Media founder Stephen Goldstein polled his NYU Business of Podcasting class to find out what Gen Z really thinks of Spotify's move to video. The casual poll results include a frank critique of the move that questions if Spotify knows its place realistically within users' media ecosystem. Students reported that while multitasking, audio remains the preferred delivery mode for a show, while big-name influencers, think Call Her Daddy style shows, are in regular rotation for members of the class, podcasts specifically built around celebrity hosts did not necessarily interest attendees who cited chemistry and authenticity as being more important. Many of them still think of YouTube automatically when talking about online video content, and those same students questioned if Spotify can differentiate itself from its competitor well enough for the pivot to video to be worth it. As for the rest of the news, Tom Webster appeared on the Trendcast to talk about binge listening and how it influences podcast creation. Audio Boom has shared its 2024 year-end numbers. Odyssey and Claritas have announced a partnership that is focused on campaign ROI analysis for audio. The Poog podcast has rebranded to Berlant and Novak and joined the Backyard Ventures network. Blueberry has partnered with CodeADX to develop a commission-based advertising model for podcasters. J.E. Peterson and Ariel Nissenblatt are hosting a webinar on January 23rd tackling podcast trailers that catch the ear. Khloe Kardashian is set to launch an official video podcast this month with timed exclusivity on X, followed by wide distribution and monetization by Dear Media. And We Didn't Turn Out Okay has joined the Forward Network. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The download is written and produced by Newton Shuttlecotty, Brian Barletta, Gavin Gaddis, and Tom Webster. Hey, one of those is me. This episode was hosted on Spreaker. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us again tomorrow.